Hey guys, it's Maggie. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm bringing you my eyeshadow palette collection. I have been doing so many face, cheek, skin based videos recently that I thought it was time for me to come and do a video all about eyeshadow and eyeshadow palettes in particular. For some reason, there's nothing quite like getting a new eyeshadow palette. It just warms my soul, and I can't really describe it. It's just an amazing feeling, and if you're a makeup addict like I am, you understand what I'm saying. Surprisingly, I don't have as many eyeshadow palettes as I thought I did. I mean, that's not saying that I don't have a lot, but it's not as cray as I thought it was. So before I kind of jump into each of the palettes, I just want to let you guys know what I consider to be an eyeshadow palette, and that would be a grouping of shadows that's 5 or more. Just letting you know, that's why I've included more than just like 12 pan eyeshadow palettes, because I definitely think that you go up to a quad and then after that it's a palette. Anyway, let's just get started. So the first palette I'm going to share with you is the NYX Be Fierce palette, and unfortunately I don't think this is available anymore, but I know for sure NYX is always coming out with new palettes. I just saw a promo on Instagram for these new ones and I'm like, looks so good. Like, I really like NYX palettes. It's a really nice palette, I think, especially for traveling, because it actually has an eyeshadow area and a cheek area. So I'm just going to share both of them with you. So the eyeshadows up here I find are really, really unique, at least in pairing wise, because there's definitely a lot of cool tone colors, but also a lot of warm tone colors. There's some neutrals, but also some like brighter shades too. I just really like this palette. I also love the size of the mirror. It literally has the perfect angle of a mirror. So you put it on your desk and you can do your makeup just like that. You don't need to like hold it in like a certain angle to do your makeup. Like, you just have to leave it and you're good. Like, it's really, really nice. This does have 25 eyeshadows in it, which is amazing. I can't remember how much this retails for. I got it as a gift, but I would probably say about $20. But still, I think that's pretty good. I'm gonna give you guys a couple swatches just to kind of give you an idea of the pigmentation. These are definitely a little bit more powdery than, say, a couple other eyeshadow brands that they have out right now, but I really don't mind that. I think it's something that you can really work with. I don't think it's like a deal breaker. But yeah, so that's kind of the pigmentation right there. I think they're really, really nice. If you guys can find this palette, I would really recommend it. I'm also going to briefly show you the other part of this palette, which you just kind of slide down like so. And you have 3 blushes and you have 7 lip glosses. Now the lip glosses I'm not that into. I don't love lip glosses that are in palette form because I feel like you can't take it with you. But the blushes are really pretty, so I'm going to swatch all 3 of them. They're very similar to the original NYX blush, powder blush kind of formula, at least like what I've swatched. So there they are right there. Again, they are a little bit more powdery, but I really don't mind that. Like, they're still very soft to the touch. I think, again, it's just a bit of a learning curve, but if you use a light hand, you'll be perfect. Next, I have a palette that is definitely a staple in my makeup wardrobe, and I think a lot of other people's makeup wardrobes as well, and that would be the Urban Decay Naked palette. Surprisingly enough, I actually did not get this as my first Naked palette. I got the Naked 2, which I'll show you soon, but I love this. Only thing I don't like about it is the packaging. It's so gross. Like, I don't... I appreciate that Urban Decay was trying to be more like luxurious and use like a velvet. Honestly, it gets shadow all over it. As you can see, like the front of it just wipes off. So I feel like this could really be improved. But really what I love are the shadows inside. They are so, so amazing. Another thing I love about the Urban Decay Naked palettes is they each come with a brush. And I've heard so many people say like, oh, I don't really use this brush very much. And I'm like, what? The brush is honestly made up a good chunk of my first grouping of eyeshadow brushes, so I love them. I love them, let's just say that. This is an amazing warm neutral palette. I think it has so many amazing colors in here. I actually got a request to do a makeup tutorial using this, and I definitely will be doing that because I really love them, and they're so blendable and pigmented. You just... ugh. It's almost the point where it's kind of hard to use other palettes because I love this one so much. Only thing that really grinds my gears about this palette is where the heck is the dang matte highlight shade, okay? Why? Why? I don't know what makeup brands think when they're like, oh yeah, you only need 1 highlight shade for your entire eye look. No. I might be high maintenance, but this is a necessity. I only use matte on my brow bone because I find I use shimmer everywhere else. So why do we not have a matte highlight? Like, we have beautiful matte transition colors, we have a beautiful shimmery highlight, and all these other beautiful shimmer colors. Why is there not a matte highlight? I don't get it. I don't get it. Other than that, these are so beautiful. Let me give you some swatches. I'm sure you've already seen these before, but let's just do this. Oh my gosh, even the matte colors are just like, yes, girl. So that's just like a little assortment of colors there. As you can see, they're just really rich and pigmented. They do have a lot of fallout, but honestly, I do not mind that at all. I feel like any good eyeshadow that's a powder form is going to have fallout. Like, that's just my opinion. I have not met a shadow that I like that doesn't have fallout, because I like something that has rich pigmentation and that can really blend out nicely. It's almost like kind of creamy to the touch. But I mean, saying creamy to the touch doesn't mean it's cream. Like, it's not cream, it's powder. So that means that it's going to have a little bit of fallout. So just make sure to do your eyeshadow before your foundation. That's all I'm gonna say. I love this palette, and I think if you're really interested in getting a new warm toned neutral palette and you don't have this one, yes, that's all I'm gonna say. Now this palette I'm pretty sure is not available anymore, but it has been replaced. That's why I'm gonna mention it, of course. This is the Stila In The Know palette. This is a completely matte eyeshadow palette. Now, I really, really like this palette. I will say though, the texture is not quite as creamy as the Urban Decay matte formula, but I'm not saying you shouldn't check the Stila matte eyeshadows out. I'm just saying it's a little bit of a different formula, which you would understand because they're two different brands. I really like how this has at least 2 or almost 3, I mean depending on your skin tone, highlight shades. You have your matte black, you have a gray, you have a nice transition shade, you have like outer V colors, you have this amazing warm orange color. I just really, really like this palette. I would say though, again, just as similar to the Urban Decay, I'm not digging the packaging. Like, why is there not a clasp here? I don't understand. Honestly, like, the magnetic packaging does not work when you're traveling, at least in my experience. But let me give you guys some swatches. So those are a couple of the shades right there. They are definitely a little bit powdery, but I really don't mind that at all. It's just a really nice matte eyeshadow palette, and if you're a fan of mattes, I would really recommend it. The next palette I have here is the Urban Decay Naked 2 palette. This was my first ever Sephora purchase, and I love this on a whole other level. The packaging, Urban Decay really improved it. 2 clasps. Are you seeing it? 2 clasps. Yes. Thank you. But these shadows are definitely more on the cooler tone side. I got this when I was in grade 9, and I remember buying it and thinking like, I don't need anything else in my life, because this actually met every single eyeshadow need that I had at that time. Now, it's just saying that, I didn't know the most about eyeshadow because I was just starting to watch YouTube videos. So, you know, it definitely is not the only palette you probably need in your life if you're like somebody who's addicted to makeup like I am, but if you don't have it, I would really recommend checking it out. This is a palette that people either love or they hate. I personally just love it because I really love experimenting with cool tones, warm tones, the whole shebang. Also want to say, another thing Urban Decay improved on, do you see this? 2 highlight shades, one that's a matte and one that's a shimmer. Thank you. Thank you. Now I will say, the shadows in this palette right now for me are getting a little bit dry because I've had this palette for so many years, and I know probably a lot of you are cringing at thinking of how long I've had this in my collection. But it's one of those things that has so many memories that I can't let it go. So there you are right there. As you can see, the pigmentation is so bomb. I think I need to do another tutorial using this palette. Let me know in the comments what you think. The next palette that I've shared with you is something that's so near and dear to my heart, and this is the Cinderella Sephora palette. Can we take a minute for this packaging? Like, the Cinderella silhouette? Are you kidding me? And then it slides out and you have these beautiful, beautiful eyeshadows. I mean, this is not a neutral girls palette. There's definitely some neutral colors, like these 2 bottom row, well, they're mostly neutrals down here, but you got some serious bright colors, which I really, really like. These eyeshadows are just so creamy and pigmented, and I just, ooh, man. I mean, this is just like a small grouping of them, but I think that kind of highlights the best colors in the palette. Unfortunately, this palette was limited edition, and I got this in Disneyland at the Sephora in downtown Disney when I was in the 10th grade. I like how it has again, matte and shimmer highlights, like that's a big thing. Only thing I would say is missing is a good transition shade, but everything else is beautiful. And also with this palette, when you're done with it, you can actually take this out and you have like a little jewelry box. I will never take it out because I will never be able to finish this palette. But if you're somebody who goes through eyeshadow like nobody's business, there you are. Okay, next I have a palette that probably, most likely, most of you are going to label as boring, but I think is absolutely essential. Mine is super beat up, but we're gonna go with it. This is the Urban Decay Naked Basics palette. I use this every single day. That's saying something right there, at least in my opinion. It has almost like a rubberized packaging, which I dig, and it also has a clasp. So, yes, okay? Mine has a little water damage, so sorry, but I mean, what are you gonna do? So this is what it looks like. It usually would have 6 colors. My shimmery highlight shade broke, which is not a big deal at all. Like, it does not matter because it has every other matte shade that I need. But this is the perfect palette to pair with any trio eyeshadow you have, any single eyeshadow you have, any duo, anything like that, because you have your highlights, you have your transition shade, you have your like outer corner, and your black, which could be like a liner. Or, you know, you could use this one as a transition shade and use this one as outer corner. Like, it depends on your skin tone, but this is just so essential to me. So there you are right there. They're just really, really, really nice shadows. Next I have this Sleek Makeup iDivine Storm Palette. You guys, I know you guys have probably heard a lot about these because they were really big with the whole British YouTube community probably about 4 years ago, and they're so good. One thing I would say though, my packaging is a little bit of a defect because it doesn't actually click shut. So that kind of sucks. This has 12 eyeshadows in it. I am very impressed. I am very, very impressed. These are supposed to be like mineral-based shadows. So let me just give you guys a couple swatches. They literally almost feel like creams. They're that like mineralized kind of style. Look at those. Aren't they beautiful? I just can't even tell you. I love them. Now I will tell you that Sleek has so many types of palettes that there's something for everybody. I picked this one because I like how it has neutrals on one half and then kind of more like deeper, smokier shades on the other half. There are actually 3 matte shades in here. There's not a matte highlight, which is kind of lacking, but we do have a transition shade. We have a slightly deeper brown shade and also a matte black. I like how the colors are also more like jewel toned as well. And yes, I just adore this palette. It's amazing. Next we have the Urban Decay Naked 3 palette. Now this, I really like this palette. I like every palette I have, let's just say that. This I feel like though is not an everyday palette in my opinion because of the shades. First of all though, I love the packaging. I think it's really pretty. When this palette came out, I remember everybody went crazy over it and I really wanted it for Christmas, but I was pretty sure no one would be able to find it for me, but my mom did, which was really nice. Anyway, again, it does have the clasps, which I love, but these shades are really gorgeous. They're just not everyday colors for me. Like, I have to be in a certain mood to wear this palette, but I mean, that doesn't bother me. I still love these colors. So this one only has a matte highlight, not a shimmer highlight, so I'm kind of struggling with that Urban Decay. It kind of left me hanging there, I'm just saying. But at the same time, like, I feel like this is not just a neutral palette. I feel like this is more of a colorful palette, you know, like compared to like the Urban Decay Naked 1 and Naked 2. The pigmentation of these is so beautiful. You do have a couple that have a lot of glitter in them and they just don't really show up quite as nicely. Like Dust here does not show up very much on your eyes at all. But at the same time, you do have a lot of like satin finish and more like intense shimmery finish ones as well. I would say also there's a lot of really unique colors in here. Like Black Heart, which is basically a black with a pink shimmer in it. You also have like Dark Side and Buzz. So there we are. They're really beautiful. I really like this palette. I don't think I'd recommend this as an everyday palette unless you're somebody who loves mauve and pink kind of colors. But if you are somebody who's kind of looking to spice up their makeup a little bit, I'd really recommend this palette. I think it's really nice. Next I have this little Stila palette. This is the Lovely in London palette. I know they came out with a bunch of different ones like this a couple of years back. This is kind of part of their old packaging aesthetic kind of look. I really like this palette. So that's one thing right there though, does not have a clasp. Why? But it does have a really nice array of neutral colors. Now, it does mostly have mattes. There are 4 shades of matte and 1 shimmery one. They're very warm toned. They're really nice and blendable and pigmented. I would say though there's definitely a little bit of fallout, especially with the shimmer one, just because, you know, it's shimmer, like it's gonna go everywhere. That's just kind of how it is. I don't think this is all you ever will need. I think maybe you could use this along with like a trio or maybe like along with one of the Naked palettes. It also does have like this kind of cheek/lip kind of color on the bottom. It's called the convertible color. And I know they sell these like separately. Now, I'm not a huge fan of this product. It's a little sticky for my liking, but also I don't like how it just is open to the eyeshadow because I tap off my brush to get the excess eyeshadow off, so it's gonna get in the cream product. I really feel like if it had like a little cover on top of it, it'd be way easier and it would be way better to use. I just don't use it. So there you are, right there. I don't think this palette's available anymore, at least at Sephora, but I really do like this palette and I definitely recommend it if you can find it. Next I have the Buxom Pastel Persuasion palette. I did just do a whole tutorial using this palette and I also raved about it in my April favorites, so you probably would guess I love this palette. First of all, can we take a minute for the packaging? Like, peacock feathers, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Like, I love it. Also, yes, it has a clasp. It's also very, like, compact. I really like that. So you do have 6 eyeshadows in here, and this one is one of the pre-made palettes. So I think they have, like, 3 or 4 that have, like, different tones and things that, like, are pre-made, and they each come with different packaging, so you know. Or you can also purchase one of the empty palettes and fill it up with the eyeshadows that you choose. Now, I was considering doing the empty palette, but I hate the packaging of that product. I don't know if it's just me, but like the crocodile skin look, I'm just not a fan. I'm not a fan, I'm just not, okay? I love the look of this. I also love how pretty and unique these colors are inside, so I decided just to go for this one. And I'm really glad I did because I don't have anything like any of these shades in my collection. Now most of these colors are matte. The only one that's a shimmer in this one is this one right here. I love how these are really soft to the touch, but they're not like so pigmented that you're gonna be scared of the color. Look at how gorgeous these colors are. Ugh. Now I will say that this palette is not gonna be like the only thing I use on a day-to-day basis. Like I might go in for a couple colors of this, or if I'm looking for a really colorful makeup look, I might just use this palette, but I mainly use this along with other palettes, like more neutral colors. But also a great part of this palette too is that it actually slides out of the compact. So let me just demonstrate. So you kind of unclick it here and you can take this right out, and you can actually take out these shadows and replace them with other ones. So if you run out of one color, you don't have to repurchase the entire palette. You can just buy the separate shade, or if you have one color in here you just don't use and you really want to replace it with something else, you definitely can too. So I just really like this palette. Okay, next I have the Urban Decay Naked 2 Basics palette. Now this one I really, really love. I don't use it quite as much as my Naked Basics palette, just because, you know, you get into a routine of using certain shades every day, and I just haven't quite gotten out of the routine yet, but I love this one. This is definitely more cool toned, but it still has some great, great shadows in here. Now I will say I find the highlights in here not quite light enough for my skin tone, but these do make really nice all over the lid shades, transition colors, and also outer V colors. This one I do find has a couple more transition colors than the Naked Basics, just for my skin tone personally, but I really love it. So there they are right there. I love them. These are really blendable, and yes, I really, really love this palette. It's amazing. The next palette that I have here is the Pati Dubroff Spotlight palette, and I had never heard of Pati Dubroff until my mom actually gave it to me like 2 or 3 years ago for Christmas, and I really like it. She actually bought it at Costco, surprisingly enough, but these shadows are really nice. But again, no clasp. Like, what's wrong with you? What is wrong with you? So the colors in here are very unique in that these colors, you wouldn't normally see them all paired together in a palette. It has, you know, like a couple warm neutrals here, and then it has like some greens, and it has like a couple like mauve burgundy colors, it has a purple, and then it has a black. A very different mixture of colors, but I actually like this palette a lot. I don't reach for this enough because it just doesn't have everything that I usually want in an eye look. For example, no transition shade. These are really nice and pigmented. So there you are, right there. They're really beautiful colors. They're very similar to Urban Decay quality, at least in my opinion. If you guys can find Pati Dubroff, let me know, because I actually really do like these. I just have never seen them like in a store before, so yeah. The last palette, and definitely the newest to me, is this one right here. This is the Urban Decay Naked Smoky. This palette I did not expect to like, let me tell you that much. But first of all, the packaging is so interesting. It's plastic, but a very hard plastic at that, and it actually has like a smoke look in it, and the back is like a more sheer kind of, still a heavy-duty plastic. This one doesn't have a clasp, but it has a very heavy-duty magnet, so I can get by that. I mean, I still prefer the Clasp a little bit, but at least it's more heavy duty than the other palettes that I have. When I first saw this, I was like, I'm not gonna get any use out of this, like before I bought it, obviously. And I thought like, no. This, first of all, has almost everything you need. Matte highlight, shimmer highlight. Can we get a what? Transition shade? Yes. Thank you, Urban Decay. But these smoky colors here are amazing. It also has a couple neutrals. Like, you've got like a nice gold color and nice bronze. And also a couple of smoky colors that you could actually wear every day. So there we have it right there. Look at those. I would really recommend checking it out, especially if you're somebody who's not usually into smoky colors. I would give it a couple swatches because it's actually very wearable, surprisingly. Alright guys, so those are all of the palettes that I have in my collection. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Please let me know in the comments if there are any palettes you think I need to pick up. I love you guys so much. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And I will see you guys on Sunday. Bye! Today I'm going to be sharing with you all the tips and tricks that I have learned about how to achieve the glowy skin appearance.